Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike from Mobox. We're back with another graphics tutorial video. This one's super simple, but it will add some cool accents to your videos for all kinds of different things that you would ever want to use it for. So let's just go ahead and get started. You'll know what I mean once we get into it. So here we are into After Effects. I'm just going to do something, if it lets me, create a new project, composition, new composition, and these settings look good to me. So basically we're going to make little accents, little circles popping, kind of little stars popping, and it'll be tons of fun. No, it won't, but it might be, hopefully. But anyways, let's just create a new solid background. It just kind of keeps me on the right track to visualize my art. And I'm super picky about the color for some reason. That looks like a nice blue. So, all right, let's just jump right in. So to start, we're just gonna create the circle popper. The circle popper, we'll just call it a circle popper. So what we're gonna do, we just wanna center up the key, or the anchor point, press Y on the keyboard, drag it right to the center, and then use the align tool here to align it. If you don't have align, go to Windows, align, and you'll find it there. I'm just gonna change the color of this to, let's do white. What the heck? Kind of like an inverted Japanese flag, which for some reason I've been all about Japanese flags lately. So anyways, let's first create a mask for this layer. So you just right click, go to mask, new mask, press M on the keyboard, it'll pull up your mask settings. Let's just expand this a tad. Now we're in the mask here. You can actually change the shape of this mask by clicking shape. Coming here to reset to, and you could change it to ellipse. You could change it independently here, but as you can see, these numbers look complicated, and that's not complicated, so we're gonna do that. So you can see it kind of snaps right to the circle, which is nice. So what's cool here is that you could use expansion and growth to change the mask, but what we wanna do first is we wanna invert it and bring this down to just at the point where it looks like it's perfectly full, which is right there. So the problem is that we can go all the way down and that will mess up the animation. So we wanna just go just until it kind of just hits that point. If you hold Control and scroll, it makes it a lot slower, so you could really narrow it down. So let's come into, I don't know, 15 frames. I like to start at about 15 to 20 frames. We'll start at 20 because it's easy. And set a mask expansion and press S on the keyboard, a scale keyframe. So these keyframes will be the basis for our animation. Pretty simple, right? So I'm just gonna come up to maybe 45 keyframes, 45 frames. And actually, I wanna start this at scale 0. So you'll kind of get an idea of what this animation is going to look like and the different variations you can do. So I'm just going to scale this up. Maybe do 140, that's fine. And then with the expansion, I'm just going to bring it all the way up. Again, not until, I can go up forever. I don't want to do that. I just want to go up just until you can't really see it anymore. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but it would be nice. Just keeps the animations in line. So now what I'm going to do is just now what I can do, if I could speak, is just highlight these keyframes and start adding some smoother to it. So I could just right click, go to Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease. That'll give us a nice baseline. And you can see here what the speed graph kind of looks like. It's just an easing, no big deal. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna select these and bring it back to 0. This is a motion tool plug-in. You won't have this if you only have stock After Effects, but you could see here what the graphs will do when I change this. So you could just kind of copy those graphs if you want, and let's get an idea of what this looks like. So you can see there, it's just a quick little snapping little pop. And what's cool about this is you can do all kinds of different things with this, right? So you could overlay this on something else, or well, I'll just show you what overlaying it on something else looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I'm going to add a proportional grid, and for some odd reason, I can't tell you why, I can't figure it out, but I need the grid to do this. I'm just going to come up and create a rectangle. And I'm going to create a rectangle as perfectly on this grid as possible. So that's probably pretty good. And now what I could do, so I'm going to name this circle, and I'm going to name this star. What I'm also going to do is I'm actually going to add some motion blur. That way it has a little, it looks a little bit less janky. So now what I can do with, now what I can do with this star is go to add repeater. And if I just mess with these settings a little bit, I'll be able to create a circle. So if I come down to repeater, I can do number of copies. I can maybe do, I don't know, 9. For transform repeater, I want to set the position to 0. And then I could set the rotation, mess with the rotation. And I can make this to whatever I want. I think 36 is not quite enough, but that looks about even. So now what I could do is I can overlay them and use this track matte to kind of, you know, add a little bit more variety to the animation there. What else you could do, actually this will be a dual tutorial. I'm just going to go back to a standard. With this, I mean you could add scale to this. Scale this to 0. You scale this up, and you can come in here into contents, rectangle, transform rectangle, and now you could scale the rectangle itself. Maybe even add some rotation, or add some opacity would be good. Maybe some scale. Press U on the keyboard, pull up all your keyframes. So now as it scales, we could take the scale of the individual and maybe bring them into 0. And maybe bring the opacity down to 0. Again, I'm going to use my tool here. Again, the graph editor kind of looks like that. You could pull on these little arms and make it look like that. And now let's see what it looks like. So I mean, that obviously doesn't look very cool, but I mean, you kind of get the idea that there's a lot of little things you can do to this. So those are just 2 little effects that you can add to, let's say, you know what? I should probably be more official and more PR. I should probably just use my logo if I could find it. If it wants to load, let's go. Composition is fine. Okay, I'm back. I just had to recreate the shape. I don't know what I did. I think I just killed After Effects. It was like, dude, your animation sucks. Stop it. And it was just like, die. And then I killed it. But anyways, you can kind of get an idea here. Now let's hope I don't kill it again. I mean, again, I'm not like a guru when it comes to After Effects, right? I mean, or when it comes to design, I just kind of know how to do some stuff, and then I do it, and then it looks like junk. But anyways, you kind of get the idea of the types of things that you can do with these accents, and you know, they're not always gonna be, you know, what you're looking for. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't be. But yeah, that's just 2 quick little accents that you can use for whatever. I mean, you could double them up. Double this one up. See, what's also good here is that you could change this, and that will give it a different effect, right? So there's a lot of really unique things you could actually do with these accents. But anyways, I mean, I know the placement on that O was pretty terrible, but you know, those are just 2 little accents. Again, maybe you learned something about repeaters, maybe you learned something about masks. Who knows? I hope you learned something. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. Be sure to check out my last tutorial, which has to do with splattering effects, which is awesome. And yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for watching.